Should you start that business? While I'm making my coffee this morning, I'm thinking about all the ideas in my head and whether it could be a business or not. And I know you're probably doing the same thing. Many of us want to quit our 9 to 5. We want to take more control of our lives. But the reality is, do you actually have a solid business idea that can scale, that can grow, and that people actually need? 3 questions we got to answer to get started. And that is, what problem are you solving? Why are you solving that problem? And if you stay to the end, how are you going to solve that problem? Now, my name is Logan. I'm the Chief Experience Officer and founder of a healthcare tech company that essentially created the Uber for healthcare, where we connect nurses to hospitals via a mobile app. We actually launched in 2016 with only 200 nurses, and since then have grown to over 70,000 nurses, and we're in 40 states. And we actually were able to cross over 100 million in revenue within our first 4 years of business, which is pretty incredible. On the side, since in the last 2-3 years, I've been helping friends and friends of friends start their own businesses, figure out how to take their idea to product, figure out how to scale current business, looking at different problems and how to solve those problems within the business itself, whether it's operations, tech stacks, the customer service. And I just love business. I love all things business. I'm fired up about business. I love talking about it. I like spending at least one time a day talking to somebody about business, whether it's a lunch or a coffee or over a cigar later at nighttime. But today I have a whiteboard. We're going to get into it. It shouldn't be long, short and sweet, answering the 3 questions, how I kind of visualize and look at the what problem, why are we solving, and how are we solving. Let's get into it. Should you start the business? Let's find out by answering these 3 questions of what, why, and how, with the most important question first, which is, what problem are you going to be solving? Most companies actually start with the solution, which is backwards. We got to start with the problem first, and the solution will find itself, and the solution will end up being your company. So I have an example here from Y Combinator, a quick little chat, little video where I love what he's saying here, and he verbalizes it so well, talking about the issue of most founders and most startups actually look at the solution first before they even have a concrete problem. Is it even needed? So let's play this video. Let's find out.
But when you actually go and talk to the users, it's just not something that they really care about. We call it a solution in search of a problem, or a SISP. Let's go through an example. So a lot of founders come up with an idea with this kind of thought process. They go, AI is cool. What could I apply AI to? And then they go look for a problem that they could solve with AI. That's a solution in search of a problem. And the reason it's dangerous is that if you do that, you'll probably find a problem, but it will be a superficially plausible problem. It'll be a made-up problem that people don't really care about, rather than a real problem that people actually care about. And if people don't really care about the problem, they won't really care about your solution. So instead...
That's huge. If you look at the statistic coming below here, top 20 reasons why startups fail, no market need. 42% of startups, no market need. That means that when they actually built a product, they built a solution, and the market didn't even need it. People weren't willing to pay for that service, pay for that product. At the end of the day, if people aren't willing to pay for it, willing to use your product, use your service, then you will fail, because you have to have revenue coming in to support the business. In reality, I love this graphic. We, in our mind, think that there's so many problems in the world. There's just, our imagination is creating all these problems, and the reality is there's very, very few problems that are actually needed that people will pay for. But it's that little sweet spot there that creates most of the businesses in the United States here. And if you can find a problem within that little sweet spot, you have a business. I love this example here, and this quote, problems are not stop signs, they are actually guidelines. It's a good indicator again. Again, you're not stopping because of a problem. You want a problem as a guideline of how do I find a solution. Looking at this chart here, you want to find a problem that fits within this Venn diagram right in the center here of desirability, meaning that the end user, that the market actually has a desire for it. If there's a need in the market. And not only is it needed though and desirable, is it feasible that you can actually build it? Do you have the skills? Do you have a co-founder? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have the professional background to actually pull this off and actually build this solution for them? But the third piece as well is the viability. Not only do you need it to be needed, and you can actually build it, but is it viable long term? So is it not just something that's needed one time and that's it? Where to scale and grow a business, it needs to be viable to grow long term. It needs to be a problem that's just not solved one time. There's a repeat customer. There's a way to grow and continue to scale, because ultimately as a business grows, you need to continue to solve problems. So there's that sweet spot right there in that Venn diagram where there's an emotional need, you can actually get it done, and there's a long-term need where there's growth long-term. I love this graphic, and I'll share these some of these pieces in the material in the description. This is a great sheet that actually gives you a couple different data discovery elements to go figure out, find what problems are out there. A simple thing is talking with people, day in the life discovery survey. So finding people that you think there might be problems and asking them questions. Asking them, say, how do you handle your day to day? What are you doing? How do you approach this problem if you encounter this problem? I actually like to, when I'm verbalizing these questions, don't ask for how they think or their opinion, because those can be, depending on how you ask the question, you can get a lot of biases, and then they actually might not give you the true answer. I like to ask, how do you feel about this problem? How do you feel when doing this work? How do you feel when encountering this issue? How do you feel when X? Because the feeling question really gives a more concrete answer of the root. That person's not really going to give you the opinion of what they think. They're not worried about, you judging them. It's, you're asking a raw question of how do you feel? Another big thing is, searching the webs, to search traffic, web traffic. Look at the web, look at the internet, look at social media. What are people saying online? What are people saying on Reddit? What are people saying in search? Look at Google keywords, Google search keywords. Are people searching for this solution? Are they searching for this problem and there's no solutions out there? And search also helps you find, are there already any competitors? Are there already any solutions? Because sometimes you might have an idea in your head and then you go and search online and, there's actually an app, there's a company, there's a service actually solving that problem already. Is it worth me now building that solution? Because, how far ahead are they in the market? I love this example of a screenshot here on the Reddit feed. I love Reddit. A lot of people talking about ideas. In the Reddit business idea category, someone's posting right here, I'm looking for an app to find people to go to concerts with. If only there was an app to change that. Well, I actually know of an app called Geneva, and if you search app to go to concerts on Google, you'll see Geneva pops up first, which is the online place to find your offline people. It is a group chat app connecting you to people you want to meet. So there's already actually a competitor in this space. There's already somebody in this space working and doing it, and they have a big following, good social media, a good brand, and the app's actually used in a couple major cities in the United States. So it shows there's a need and there's a market for it, but are they already too far ahead to where it'd be hard for you to capture that market and get into that space? Are they funded? How much are they funded? And how many users are on their platform already? But these are things you want to look at online, figure out problems, and a good easy thing to do, and a lot of people say, is some of the easiest problems to solve are problems that you have in your own life. And that gets me into the why. Why are you actually wanting to solve it? If the why is personal to you, personal to a friend, personal to a family member, it's actually going to be a lot easier, a lot stronger, a better drive to drive you to work those long hours and commit to 3 to 10 years to grow a business, because we all know to have a successful business, it's not a 1 to 3 year plan. It's really more of a 5 to 10 year, with around that 8 to 10 year sweet spot when you actually really start producing revenue and really growing the business. So are you willing to commit something for 8 to 10 years? You got to, not really necessarily love it. It don't have to be a passion, but you have to have some sort of why to drive you that's past just making money. Because if your goal is just to make money, you're not, ultimately you'll burn out. Your goal should be to solve a problem so well that some people will actually pay you for that problem, and then you make money in the byproduct. I love this book from Simon Sinek. He's talking about start with why. It's a great book to find your why. Why me? Are you the person to solve this? Maybe you have a great idea, but you don't have the technical capabilities. You have no background in this industry. You have no expertise, no professional background, no degree in that field. So why are you the person, or you and your friends, you and your team, the ones that actually to solve that issue? I love this quote from Simon Sinek talking about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. And again, looking at another thing on the why, is this a short-term solution that you're trying to solve right now? Is the why, is there something right now you see an issue and you can solve it? Or is there the long-term, which is what's called futurist thinking, where it's a larger issue, it's a societal issue, it's something that you can solve over the long term? But looking at it again, you got to kind of know your why. Is it something I'm trying to solve right now? I need to get some revenue today. I see the problem out there in the industry right now. Or is it something that's loftier goal, long-term, that you're willing to grind and commit to, knowing that you're not going to see any results for a longer time? And that design, that building process is a lot longer. You can see here, a lot longer investigating and a lot longer designing, ultimately ready for a launch in the future. And again, these are more ideas around climate change, environment, electric vehicles, future tech, future automations, future robotics, things that are future forward that are a little bit more fun to talk about, but in reality is there's a slower chance to produce revenue and a slower chance to get that product to market, longer time commitment as well. But two different sides of it. There's two different sides of business where you can attack both. And you can have a short-term going into long-term. That's very, very common as well. Start with a short-term solution that can actually start producing revenue to build a company, knowing your goal is to get into a long-term solution. I love this quote. It says, "Do you walk in your customers' shoes? Can you describe a day in the life of your customers? Do you know what keeps them up at night? Because you need to understand their life to serve their life." That's huge. That's why I'd say it's important for you to know the problem yourself, whether it's something that you actually experience, close circle, friends, family, colleagues, because if you understand it, or people around you understand the problem or have the problem, you actually know how to serve them and solve that solution for them. Love this graphic. Identify the pain. What is the problem? How can you solve it? What are the pain points? This graphic below, called the Value Prop Canvas, I'm going to leave this in the link in the bio. Strategizer is a great website for understanding how to actually build upon ideas. Don't look at the left part right now. Just do the right side with me here. Fill out your customer segment. Who is your ideal customer that you're solving? Write out their jobs. What are they currently doing today? And what are those pain points that those jobs give you? The jobs that they're doing or the tasks they're doing, what are the pain points? And right up here, what would they gain if you actually help them alleviate one or all of these pain points below? And that'll help you figure out into the next point how we're going to solve. We go up here, the question of how will you solve? I love that it says right here, this chart, creating some brand new innovative idea is only one way to innovate. According to most, innovation actually is a combination of up to 10 different types of innovation. It's not just a brand new product. I see a lot of the times it's a combination of process, new product, it creates a different service, and the branding itself is a little different, typical to old school company, to where that's enough of a differentiating factor for where you can actually now solve a problem and get a user. So it doesn't have to be one of these things. It doesn't have to be all 10. It could usually be a combination of a couple where you actually figure out how to solve your problem differently than is already out there, or in a way that is actually needed by your end user. I love this chart, and this is something that you should be as almost like the Bible for your business, which is the chart from Lean Startup, talking about the learn, measure, build, and how that's all connected. You want to learn in the beginning, ask, is it desirable, viable, feasible? We talked about in the beginning. As we're learning, we're measuring, which I like to write that actually is, let's call this test. Okay, we're talking to users, we're getting feedback, we're asking people, we're running surveys, we're talking to people in person, we're doing social media brand posting, we're talking about the problem online, seeing if there's any interest, we're looking at Reddit, looking at search. Now we're getting some feedback, we start building what's called the MVP, and the handwriting is horrible because I'm doing this on this pad here. MVP, minimal viable product. This is the bare bones of the service or product or tech solution that we're providing. We're not building this whole thing. We're building something very, very, very small so we can go back and test with that group that we were talking, whether it's online, in person, or a combination of both. We want to test as much as possible. Get that information, coming to learn, and running through, what do we learn now? What are they saying? Do they like this so far? Is it on track? Is it off cusp? Is it something that we need to go back to the drawing board and rethink our solution? After we've learned a little bit, we go back into build again, and this time we're now adding to this MVP. We're making it a little bit better. Still not the final product. It's called now the EVP, which is the exceptional viable product, which now it's a little bit better. It's not the bare bones, not that ugly. It's not one feature. You can add a little bit onto it now, build a little bit, because now we have some people testing, some people we're talking to, we're getting feedback, we're starting to brand on social media, online. We now have people who have an audience looking at us, so we want to improve upon it. When we get feedback and we go and iterate, you want it to be better next time you show it to them. You don't want it to be worse, right? But it's not the final product still. A lot of companies, they make mistakes, or they start learning and they don't test. They might test a little bit, go behind closed doors, and completely build this huge idea, spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars, and years of time, months to years of time, building some perfect solution, coming back, testing it. And we talked about in the beginning, it might not even be what the market needs to pay for it. So you're better off building in small iterations, which is called that Lean Startup approach. There's a book. You should go read it. It's very, very short, very succinct, a lot of tips and tools in there. Build small, test, build, test, and overall you're iterating and building the final product and you get into that final stage, which ultimately is never the final product. Business is always a continually evolving thing. Here's a good chart again talking about ways to validate our idea or our MVP or our test that we're doing. You can build a single feature clickable prototype. Sometimes you don't even have to do a feature and spend all this time coding or building a little product or building out the full service. You could just do something almost as like fake, like a prototype. It's just an example of what you're wanting to build to go back and test and say, hey, how does this look? How does this feel? How does this help you at all? And how do you feel when you're using this experience, product, or service? And again, another way is using social media to talk about the problem online. Start building the awareness of the problem and see if people respond and say, hey, I have this problem as well. I wish people did this, or I wish people solved X, like that app example, a beginning of somebody asking about, I wish people had an app to go to concerts with. They're talking about that online. And you can actually drive traffic to a simple landing page and say, hey, we're building the solution, sign up if you're interested. And you can actually start building an audience, whether it's email, phone number, or just some sort of newsletter online, or just follow my page. And you have people now that are following your journey that you can actually go back to and say, hey, try out this MVP, try out this prototype, try out this example of my product and see if you like it. Give me your feedback. How do you feel? Take that, iterate, and continue to grow. You could do a pre-sale as well if you start building your audience online by using a simple landing page, social media, some sort of crowdfunding. You're able to then build this pre-sale so you actually have some revenue coming in. So people who are saying, hey, I'll pay for this product before you even launch, which is way better if you have 5 people saying they're willing to pay and use it versus having 0. And you launch spending all this time and money and have 0 people ready to use it. It's better off to have a couple people ready. That's not just your friends and family who are just doing it because they like you and they care about you. If you're selling a physical product, don't go and buy all this money on inventory, have to worry about warehousing or worry about a physical retail location paying rent. Just do a pop-up store. Get one product, one physical product that you can go and start selling. Even if you want to sell 3 to 5 things at first launch, get one. Get it made, get it quick, get a limited quantity, use social media to build the hype, the brand, do a pop-up event. Limited, one day only, couple hours, see the feedback. And do people come? Do they buy out of everything? Are they asking for other products, other versions of this, of X, other colors? What is the feedback that you get in real time at that pop-up event? Go back and take that feedback, learn, iterate, and continue to grind. Again, Reddit, people going on here, putting out their business ideas and saying, hey, I need feedback on whether you would join this idea, join this app. People are commenting. Now, again, your first thought's probably, well, I don't want to put my idea out there too early and somebody steal it. Nobody's going to steal your idea. The quote is, ideas are a dime of a dozen, but it's execution that matters. And the reality is no one's going to execute on your idea. It's not their idea. It's your idea. They don't have the personal why to it. It's not their problem. They don't really care. Nobody is going to take your idea and steal it from you. No big company is going to see this. They don't have time. The bigger the company, the slower they are actually to move and slower they are to actually innovate and add new ideas and add new products. So if you want to disrupt an industry, don't worry about posting your idea out there because nobody's really going to do it other than you. Execution is what matters. Idea doesn't matter at all. I think even Steve Jobs has been quoted saying that. Here's an example of a landing page. It's very simple, short, sweet. Nothing to do on this page other than read a little bit about it. Probably under here there's a little about it. About the idea, the company, but even from here, you can kind of get the idea of what they're trying to do within 2 seconds, because that's important on a landing page. We can talk about this in a different video. You only have, they say now, 1.7 seconds to 2 seconds to grab their attention, and the end user needs to understand what you're talking about, what you're offering them, how you help them under 2 seconds, or they click off. And so right here, make money doing what you love. The tools run your own food business. If that's interesting to you, sign up their phone number and get started. And then this company starts building a database of people who are interested. So when they start testing their product, getting things out there, building the brand, they can go to this list of phone numbers and call people one-on-one, talk to them, say, hey, want you to feel this, test this out. How do you feel? Give me feedback. Your feedback is valuable to me. Now you're building these brand warriors for you who care and they're loyal to your brand, and you can actually get great feedback on it. I love the people who are building content in real time in public and are getting feedback on it in real time. I don't know what this guy's selling, but there's men and women that are starting businesses that are actually using social media to build the brand in public. It's a trending thing right now, but it's huge, and I think it's the future of business. This person has 3,000 views on their video in only 8 days. That's pretty incredible. I took the screenshot yesterday. Incredible. And they're talking about their business, their life. And the reality is they're going to build followers, build brand loyalists who are going to then give them feedback and say, hey, I wish you did it in my area. Hey, what about this color? Hey, what about this feature in your product or service? And then you can, again, use that feedback, use that audience to test your ideas as you're building and make your product ultimately better to solve their need. Because again, the goal is to solve an actual problem, not a problem that's made up in your mind. Now, what is a minimal viable product? It is designed to try new ideas. It's not about getting profit. Again, want to make money? That's not a great goal. You make money by solving a problem. And MVPs in the beginning, you ain't going to make any money. The goal is to test the concept, knowing you want to build to make money eventually to support the business. And it's designed to solve a real problem, not a fake problem. It's not designed to impress users. It's not supposed to be beautiful, something that you think is going to change the world. Really, what is this problem? Can you get feedback on it? Again, the next point, get actual feedback. Can I get feedback in real time? And again, this is not supposed to be beautiful, the end product. I'm going to change it. Very minimal. A small investment, time, money. As easy as you can get this idea out there, get it out there, test, get ideas, get feedback, how to make it better. It's not supposed to be carved in stone, the final product, knowing you're going to make this better. And again, I like this example of EVV because it's not EVP, not EVV. It's not MVP, or it's actually, I think it's both, right? And I was starting to write this here. And again, it's hard to write with this pad here, both. MVP, beginning, build, iterate. Once you start getting an audience and you want to start impressing them, show them that you're actually taking the feedback, you're building upon it. Now you're building what's called an exceptional viable product, EVP. You're starting to actually now get loyal customers, impress your user base, and you continue to test until you get a somewhat final product or an exceptional product that you can continue to iterate on and build that brand, maybe raise some funding. So to end, guys, I'm going to provide you with this business model canvas chart, again, from Strategizer. Great resource. Again, the website, highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to put a link in the description again. But if you can kind of fill each one of these pieces out, you'll have a keen understanding and a great starting point to executing on your business. What we talked about, the what, the why, and the how, I'll show you where these fit in. The what is essentially this whole chart. What are we solving? We kind of got to attack every one of these pieces here to accomplish what problem we're solving. The why, or the who, is going to be in the customer segments and the relationships. These are why and who we're solving for. These are, again, having a keen understanding of the pain and the people we're solving for. And the how are in the value props in the rest of the boxes, like the key activities, what activities, what partnerships, what resources are we using, how are we making our product different, the value props, and then again, what channels are we using to get our message across, to get our service, our ideas, our product across, and to have a little understanding of what do these things cost, what are the hows it costing me, have an understanding, again, what is this costing in the beginning, and have a little bit of understanding. It's okay if it changes over time of where you want to get revenue, how do you want to charge, where do you want it to, somewhat the cost structure and how you want to produce revenue for the company, because ultimately you need revenue to fund into the company, to grow and fund the company as you grow. And kind of wraps it all up, guys. I hope I helped a little bit today answering the what problem, helped you figure out, giving ideas on attacking and finding a problem, identifying the why, thinking about the personal or close attachment that you can identify to it, and then the how. We talked a little bit of how to actually start building, knowing the best model is that lean, test, iterate, and doing it in increments. And I'd recommend building in public to get that feedback. And again, any questions, guys, please reach out to me. If you have any ideas, comment, any feedback for me, how you feel about this video, leave me a comment, please, because I'm gonna take my own advice. I wanna hear from you. I would like to know how I can help to provide value for you in the future. I have ideas for future videos on topics, go in deeper topics on customer segments, branding. I'm going from 0 to 1, idea to product, idea to service, idea to app, branding, how you look at building a brand now, leveraging the digital age of being online and content is king, and looking at different methods of advertising, different methods of structuring your operational tech stack in-house to help you scale and help you be efficient as you grow, how to hire people, how to deal with HR and legal. These are things that I've dealt with in my last 8 years of experience in my company and growing, things I want to talk about. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I love chatting about business. I love talking. I love helping. Would love to be a resource and a tool for you to help. If you need any, want to just chat, hit my line, send me a DM, reach out to me. Would love to chat. But until next time, have a great day. See ya.